How do you know I'm not a gangster or used to be a gangster? I've been
mean,
in the
were you?
music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Something dangerous is unraveling inside the Carter empire, and this time, it is not just celebrity gossip. We are staring straight into a ticking time bomb that could shatter the carefully crafted image of Jay-Z and Beyonce's so-called unbreakable kingdom. Built on strategy, silence, and power moves, their empire has always felt untouchable. But now, a single court ruling may have cracked its perfect surface. The green light has officially been given for a paternity test tied to Reese Satwait, the man who claims Jay-Z fathered him when his mother was just 16. And behind that small legal crack lies a maze of secrets that could run far deeper than anyone ever imagined.
No felonies, I'm not crazy or none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
For more than 10 years, Reese Satwait has been fighting to get his voice heard legally, emotionally, and in the court of public opinion. He has not just made a claim, he has lived a crusade, insisting that Jay-Z, then 22, had an intimate relationship with his teenage mother, Wanda, in the early 1990s. Wanda even submitted a sworn affidavit, but their case was buried beneath sealed records and endless legal blockades. Courts shut him out, time after time. But now, everything has changed. A judge has finally opened the door no one else would touch, granting permission for a DNA test. And with that decision, the countdown has begun. Because if that test proves Reese's truth, it will not just rattle Jay-Z's legacy, it could tear down the entire Carter dynasty. And standing at the center of the storm is Beyonce, whether she wants to be or not.
And we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
While Jay-Z's legal team continues to dodge, delay, and deflect, one voice remains hauntingly absent: Beyonce's. Not a single statement, not a single post. No defense of her husband, no denial of Reese's claims. And in that deafening silence, whispers have turned into thunder. Is Beyonce's silence merely passive? Or is it the mark of a master strategist? Insiders insist it is anything but indifference. According to a longtime associate tied to her legal circle, Beyonce is not just watching, she is calculating. This storm has been building for years. Sources say she has been playing the long game, and now, her moment might be arriving. That moment could take the form of a tell-all memoir, one that reportedly makes Lemonade look tame by comparison. And from what insiders claim, the timing is no accident. With media chaos circling Jay-Z's alleged past, and his name being dragged deeper into the Diddy scandal, Beyonce could be positioning herself as the resilient icon, the woman who rose through betrayal and secrecy. Her side of the story, told in her voice, may be the wedge that finally separates her from the man who helped build her global empire. But what if Jay-Z was never meant to be her forever? What if she has been crafting her exit all along? Those old rumors about Beyonce consulting divorce attorneys? They are not rumors anymore. At least two respected legal firms in New York have quietly confirmed off the record that her team has inquired about asset protection, trust restructuring, and property transfers. That is not the behavior of a woman committed to "till death do us part." That is strategy. That is chess, and if Beyonce has truly been this deliberate, Jay-Z is not just facing a scandal, he could be staring down the most elegant, calculated takedown ever orchestrated by the woman who knows all his secrets.
What I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time.
Let us not forget, this is the same Beyonce who stood silently while her sister, Solange, unleashed a full-on storm in that now infamous elevator incident. At the time, the world was fed a bland narrative about family matters or some vague disagreement. But what if Solange was not losing control? What if she was sending a message Beyonce could not deliver herself? What if that moment was not a meltdown, but a calculated warning shot? Because now, when we revisit that grainy footage through the lens of these new revelations, it does not look like chaos anymore, it looks like foreshadowing. And then there is the growing buzz around Beyonce's alleged memoir. If the whispers are true, this will not be the kind of soft-focus reflection filled with vague references and graceful avoidance. No, this book might name names. Directly, loudly, with details. Think timelines, think receipts, alleged affairs, shady backroom deals, even financial blunders carefully hidden beneath the glittering surface of their billion-dollar brand. Sources claim nothing is off-limits. There is also talk that the memoir will take us back to the early chapters of her marriage, the years when Jay-Z's cheating was not just a rumor but a background hum, always present, always lingering. Those red carpet smiles? They may have been masking private betrayal. Let us not pretend that Becky with the good hair came out of nowhere. That line was not art, it was a wound. And now, it seems Beyonce might finally be ready to show the scar.
And it's a personal one for me. My mum was adopted. She spent decades trying to find her parents. She ended up with anxiety and depression over it.
Wow.
And it really impacted the whole family. And I know how that.
Many believe that Beyonce has already begun the process of rebranding, quietly but powerfully, sending subtle signals that she is preparing to reclaim her name, her voice, and her legacy without Jay-Z sharing the spotlight. Just look at the visuals from her recent Renaissance tour, more solo shots, more intimate mother-daughter moments with Blue Ivy commanding the stage beside her. Noticeably absent? The Carter unity. It is less us, more her, less Carter, more Knowles, and now, with whispers growing louder that her upcoming memoir has not been delayed for edits but rather to align perfectly with the legal storm surrounding Jay-Z, it is becoming clear Beyonce is watching the chessboard. And she is waiting for checkmate. The gossip grapevine has been especially ripe with one theory in particular, that the memoir's delay was never about logistics, it was about strategy. Insiders point out that the original release date was quietly postponed just days after the court officially approved the paternity test. Coincidence? One prominent entertainment attorney does not think so. According to them, the timing was absolutely intentional, meant to seize narrative control at the exact moment Jay-Z loses his grip on it. If that theory holds true, then Beyonce is not just telling her story, she is weaponizing it, holding her manuscript like a loaded chamber, ready to pull the trigger while Jay-Z scrambles to contain a scandal that is no longer just personal, it is a full-blown public relations catastrophe.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
And that public relations nightmare is only getting darker, now intertwined with Jay-Z's alleged ties to Sean Diddy Combs, who is currently awaiting federal trial in Brooklyn on charges so disturbing, we will not even attempt to list them all here. Let us just say this, former associates are no longer speaking in whispers. They are calling names, and Jay-Z is being dragged into the storm. One of the loudest voices was former bodyguard Uncle Ron, who spoke out boldly before his sudden and suspicious death. He made it clear, with zero hesitation, that Jay-Z might not be as clean-cut as his public image suggests. Ron hinted at disturbing alliances, veiled power moves, and a man who has built an empire while quietly dancing through shadows. For now, Beyonce and Jay-Z continue to maintain the illusion. The power couple facade is still technically intact, but if you look closer, the cracks are widening. No shared statements. No cozy social media posts. No joint appearances since that London film premiere last November. According to an insider close to the couple, they are operating on completely separate schedules, and their legal teams? Always within reach. It raises the question, are we witnessing the slow, deliberate disintegration of hip-hop's royal union? Or are we seeing the most calculated PR pivot in modern entertainment history? Because if this truly is Beyonce's grand play, then every moment of silence, every postponed project, every carefully chosen image has been part of a larger orchestration. A masterstroke by a woman who knows how to remain silent until breaking that silence will shake the world and secure her legacy with a thunderclap of truth and finality.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
And now, as whispers of a secret divorce strategy grow louder, the real question is no longer if Beyonce will walk away, but when and how. Because if her long-rumored memoir drops in the midst of Jay-Z's legal whirlwind right as he battles both a paternity suit and the collateral fallout from Diddy's explosive indictment, then Beyonce will not just be sharing her truth. She will be delivering the final chapter of their story. Or perhaps, that chapter has already been written. And all we are doing now is waiting for the ink to dry. As the curtain lifts on Jay-Z's spiraling controversies, the spotlight naturally shifts to the other half of this iconic empire. And the image of Beyonce, once seen as untouchable, flawless, meticulously composed, is beginning to blur. Her immaculate public persona, crafted through calculated interviews and carefully curated appearances, is now under intense scrutiny. And what we are seeing beneath the gloss is not just poise and power, but shadows, because the closer we look, the harder it is to ignore. Beyonce's silence might not only be strategic, it might also be complicit.
And that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue a criminally.
We have been fed the same story for years. Beyonce, the invincible icon, the graceful figure who turned heartbreak into art, who forgave her husband's betrayals and rose above it all like a phoenix. But now, as digital detectives dig deeper, a more tangled and far darker picture begins to emerge. Beyonce was not just standing beside Jay-Z during his prime. She was also in the orbit of Sean Diddy Combs. And that is where the story takes a sharp, deeply unsettling turn. Diddy's legal troubles are no longer whispers, they are headlines. Multiple civil lawsuits accuse him of running a vast, predatory network built on coercion, manipulation, and exploitation across state lines, allegedly spanning decades. It is the kind of scandal that destroys reputations and buries empires, and yet, Beyonce, who was seen at his parties, who collaborated in his circles, whose husband shares a deeply rooted industry connection with the bad boy mogul, has remained untouched, or perhaps, just unchallenged. So far.
Jay-Z, over the course of his career, and I have to still say allegedly, has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Because now, people are starting to ask the uncomfortable question, how much did she really know? Could Beyonce have missed the red flags? Or worse, did she see them and choose to look away? After all, her empire is a fortress built on optics, discipline, and unwavering silence. But when silence becomes a shield, we have to ask, who is it protecting? Emerging theories suggest that Beyonce maintained her ties with Combs not out of loyalty or friendship, but out of necessity. Self-preservation. The kind of cold, calculated alliance that keeps careers bulletproof, even while the truth burns beneath the surface. And then came the explosive allegations from Ron Smith, better known as Uncle Ron, Diddy's former bodyguard. A man with access to the inner circles most people cannot even imagine stepped out of the shadows in early 2023. What he claims sent shockwaves through the internet and beyond. Uncle Ron did not mince words. He said Beyonce was not the innocent bystander many believed her to be. In his eyes, she was part of the very machine that enabled the industry's darker dealings, alongside her husband and Combs. Yeah, Beyonce is on substances. She's been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way, he said in one now infamous video. The statement was so explosive, it was swiftly scrubbed from platforms, but not before it spread like wildfire, igniting a fresh wave of doubt, suspicion, and conspiracy.
With respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, that there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress.
What followed was a chilling twist. Uncle Ron resurfaced on social media months later, dropping cryptic hints about even darker secrets, alleging inside knowledge about Biggie Smalls' demise and ruthless power plays between Jay-Z and Diddy. Jay-Z and Diddy wanted Biggie gone. He was planning to leave Bad Boy, Ron said, and then, not even 24 hours after making that bold claim, Uncle Ron was gone. A sudden illness, they said. Pneumonia, officially. But for those who closely track these patterns, it felt like deja vu. Too many insiders, too many confidants of powerful figures vanishing under suspiciously natural circumstances. Too many stories cut short just as the truth was starting to spill. That was the moment the online floodgates burst wide open. Suddenly, old interviews were being re-examined. Award show footage replayed with new scrutiny. Why had so many artists publicly thanked Beyonce without context? Was it genuine admiration or subtle compliance? Clips began circulating of Britney Spears, Adele, and even lesser-known performers offering what seemed like unprovoked praise for Queen Bey. To some, it was harmless fanfare. To others, it reeked of fear. One theory rapidly gaining traction suggests that Beyonce's power has grown so untouchable, so vast and all-encompassing, that challenging her comes with serious consequences. Consequences like vanishing tour budgets, albums mysteriously pulled at the last minute, careers frozen mid-flight, blacklisted without a trace.
No, this part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging taking the DNA test.
We cannot ignore the timeline. Every major celebrity scandal involving Diddy eventually seems to orbit back to the same two names, Jay-Z and Beyonce. While Jay-Z's connection is well documented, Beyonce's involvement is far murkier, more veiled. The perfect smokescreen, but the thing about smoke is, it usually means there is fire. The whispers go even deeper into dangerous, uncomfortable territory. Some internet sleuths, connecting threads from lawsuits, affidavits, and buried industry deals, are now floating explosive theories that Beyonce and Jay-Z may have played silent roles in suppressing rising stars. Aaliyah, Lisa Left Eye Lopez, Michael Jackson, all artists who either challenged the system or were rumored to be on the verge of exposing it. One particularly conspiratorial thread suggests that Jackson's public feud with music executives and his decision to speak out about corruption in the industry may have made him a threat to powerful allies of the Carters. Of course, no official connection has ever been proven. But in today's climate, that does not stop the questions from multiplying. And the more they swirl, the less plausible silence becomes.
Let me know as you guys are coming in that you can hear me and see me. I'm pretty sure that you can. This is some exclusive tea that I got a little while back.
Could Beyonce have used her position to cement dominance while others fell away? Could her rise have been protected not by raw talent alone, but by a network of unspoken loyalties? To many, that idea borders on heresy, but others are beginning to see the cracks. The meticulous branding, the lack of interviews, the clinical control over every appearance, every word, every move. Is it simply perfectionism or insulation? And yet, through all of this, Beyonce says nothing. No denials, no statements, not even subtle messages through her usually symbolic visuals or lyrics. It is as if she is daring the world to keep wondering, knowing that no one dares speak her name in judgment, at least not publicly. But behind closed doors, even her most loyal defenders are beginning to ask, who exactly have we been idolizing? What many are now calling the Carter firewall did not emerge overnight. It has been meticulously constructed over years of legal maneuvering, behind-the-scenes negotiations, and what some claim are outright manipulations of the justice system. In the ongoing case involving Reese Sadwaite, Jay-Z's alleged son, court records and investigative reports suggest a staggering pattern of obstruction. Ryer's team has accused Jay-Z's attorneys of exploiting jurisdiction loopholes, submitting misleading property records, and even pressuring judges to dismiss motions based on technicalities rather than fact. While these claims have not yet resulted in criminal charges, they paint a picture of a man with more than just high-powered lawyers, someone who may wield real influence over the legal landscape meant to hold him accountable.
This is not just about me. If I gotta fight for all of us, I will, but I won't let the court systems just walk over me. I won't let Jay-Z, I won't let no one just walk over me and tell me something because y'all just saying this. I want the truth. And if we can't go to the Supreme Courts, the regular courts, to find out the truth, what are they here for?
Yeah, all right, we'll get to the legal things that you've been through, the battles. But before that,
public records unearthed by watchdog journalists reveal a long trail of sealed documents, procedural dismissals, and cases shuffled between state lines until they quietly evaporated. In one instance, Jay-Z's legal team argued that he should not be compelled to take a paternity test in New Jersey because he did not reside there, despite records tying him to property in the state. Even more troubling, the attorney representing him later admitted in court to having misspoken about that fact, a move some legal analysts argue borders on perjury, yet nothing came of it. No sanctions, no follow-up. It is as if the machine corrected itself before anything could go public. That has led some to believe we are looking at something far more organized than just celebrity legal defense. Former court officials and insiders, some speaking anonymously, have alluded to a pattern of legal redirection, where cases involving Jay-Z seem to hit invisible walls at crucial moments, from last-minute document seals to inexplicable judge resignations. These incidents have sparked online speculation about whether his reach extends deeper into the judicial system than anyone anticipated. Not just privilege, but power. Institutional power. The kind that does not beg for special treatment, it expects it.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
We cannot ignore the implications. If Jay-Z's empire has been sustained by quietly suppressing inconvenient truths, then every court victory, every dropped case, and every silence bought through a settlement or missed hearing becomes part of a larger, more ominous legacy. This is no longer just about protecting a brand. It is about controlling a narrative with surgical precision, and as Rymer's case gains renewed traction due to a recent legal breakthrough, we may be witnessing the first significant breach in that carefully constructed firewall. If the courts finally demand a DNA test, it will not just be about paternity. It will be about whether the empire ever truly played by the rules. The stakes extend far beyond one man or one family. They raise a deeper question about accountability in celebrity culture, how wealth and status can be weaponized not merely for influence, but to erase consequences altogether. If Jay-Z has spent years building a machine to rewrite reality in his favor, then we must ask, how many truths were buried in the process? And how many more are still waiting to surface?
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
Because what if the most powerful woman in pop is not a silent casualty of Jay-Z's scandal, but the silent architect of something far more complicated? And now, with Jay-Z's reputation in free fall and a paternity test threatening to peel back another layer, we are left with a chilling possibility that Beyonce has always known more than she let on. That her memoir, delayed, polished, strategic, may not be a cry for justice, but a final act of control. So here is the question we are all afraid to ask out loud. What if Beyonce's silence is not protection, but guilt? And if that is true, what else has she hidden beneath the crown? We want to hear what you think. Could this be the beginning of Beyonce's reckoning, or just another calculated move from a queen who always stays 10 steps ahead? Drop your thoughts below, and let's dig in together. Until next time, stay sharp and do not blink. You never know who is watching.